to.
Welcome, everybody, to the September 5th meeting of the Pitt County Board of Education. Thank you for attending tonight. It's wonderful to see so many faces, smiling faces in this room. It's fantastic. And to those of you watching at home, thank you for tuning in. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Oh my God, it is. And call on Ward Forbes to lead us in the pledge and moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I think we all should be very thankful that we've had a successful opening of schools. It's been pretty safe, and we have had some incidences with kids, but hopefully they were taken care of, and we just continue to hope for a smooth school year, one that is safe for our students, and we just like for parents to be involved and stay up on what's happening in regards to their students, and for students to be focused, and if they're having any problems they need to go to their guidance counselor so that someone can be made aware. We also like to remember the folks and the children in Texas and the floods that they have dealt with in their homes and their schools, and we hope that Irma goes out into the ocean and touches no one. Let's have a moment of silence. We're just thankful that we've been taken care of, and we hope and continue to pray that their healing hand will be placed upon us and our kids, that we have a smooth opening, a safe year, and that it will be very productive. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Ward. Okay, our next item on the agenda is adjustments to the agenda.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
motion we approve the agenda as listed.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve the agenda. Do we have a second?
Second.
And a second. Okay, any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. The motion to approve the agenda as written. All opposed, same sign. Thank you, it's unanimous. Okay, tonight I have the great good fortune of being the person to put a spotlight on Spotlight in Teaching and Learning. Very excited about that tonight. I'm sorry that Dr. Lewis is teaching his class tonight, but it gives me an opportunity to be the primary celebrator. I'd like to call, we have two wonderful programs and people to draw attention to tonight. The first is the Bus Driver of the Year, and Allison Covington from Belvoir, who's the principal, I believe, is going to come up and present that. If you would come first, please. Thank you very much. This is a great honor. We're excited that you're here to do this for us.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is Mr. Randy Foskey, and he has been a bus driver with Pitt County Schools for 5 years. And I do think he is very deserving of the award he was given because he really embodies a team player. Anything you ask him to do, he does it. But I think one of the big keys with him is with our children. He really takes time to build relationships with his kids and forms rapport with him. He's also a dual employee, so he's a custodian at our school too, and he actually mentors some of the kids there, and they really respect him. We have hardly any discipline issues on his bus, but that's really because I think that they look up to him. When it comes to colleagues, he's always one. We had some issues with sub-drivers last year, as we all know can be an issue. And he jumped right on the buses and took care of it. Today we had an issue getting some kids. We were overcrowded a bus. He took the route and went and picked up the kids and took them to Boys and Girls Club. So he really is, anytime you call on him, he's there. So I think that he's very deserving of the award, and we're just really, really proud of him for him getting recognized. So.
Fantastic. Congratulations. Mary Blunt Williams, the Vice Chair of the Board, will be presenting the award.
And Mr. Foster, we'd like to present you with Excellence in the East, a certificate here. But I also wanted to tell you that your role is so important. And I don't want to overlook your role, just like we don't overlook the teachers and the administrators. Because sometimes it's you that can speak life into our children when you think others should be doing it. So I appreciate you, I appreciate the job that you do, and I wanted to let you know that.
I appreciate it.
Take easy on me tonight. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This was early.
Truer words could not be said. So many times our children connect with the person who picks them up at home and drops them off at home every day. And that's such an important link to our schools. Next is my honor to ask Jennifer Waddleton, who is the Injury Prevention Program Coordinator with the Eastern Carolina Injury Prevention Program with Pitt Medical Center, to come forward to tell us a little bit about the North Pitt Peer-to-Peer Team Driving Program.
Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer Wobbleton. I work with the Eastern Carolina Injury Prevention Program at Pitt Medical Center. Over the past 4 school years, I've had the opportunity to work in all 6 of the high schools in Pitt County to implement a teen safe driving program called Pitco Teen Safe Drivers. It's a peer-to-peer program where students at each school implement monthly activities that relate to one of 5 risk areas for teen drivers. Over the past 3 summers, I've had the opportunity to take groups of students to the National Student Safety Program Conference. We've been represented in Raleigh, North Carolina, Portland, Oregon, and this past July, 2 students from North Pitt, Carolina Webb, and Cassidy Green were selected to attend the conference in California in July, based on the number of activities that they did in their school, the number of students that they reached, and the incredible leadership that they demonstrated throughout the school year. So if we'll take just a moment, they want to share a little bit about their experience and their plans for the next school year.
Hi, I'm Caroline. As she said, I'm a student at North Pitt. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about our experience. The NSSP conference allowed Cassidy and I to showcase all the events that we did within our school this past year, and just our program as a whole, and how we reached not only North Pitt but Pitt County. The conference allowed us to travel across the country, which was amazing, and make a lot of friendships with people from all across the country, including Hawaii, Wisconsin, and Oklahoma. Many of those friends we're still in touch with, and we plan to reunite with this summer in Chicago. The conference allowed us to broaden our horizons by bringing a lot of new information back home to share with our student body, and we were able to, like I said, travel across the country, and we were able to create an amazing bond with our chaperones, Natalia and Jennifer, and we wanted to say thank you to them for helping us get to California.
Hi, I'm Cassidy. This year our focus is going to be teen health and wellness along with safe driving. We will be holding fundraisers to fund our trip to the next conference in Chicago in July of 2018.
Recognize you as well.
And it's my pleasure because I'm District 3, so you are my school. So, Cassidy, this is your certificate for representing the best of the East
And Caroline, that's yours.
Thank you.
And we'd like to congratulate and thank you so much for the work that you've done, and I thank you for the work that you exemplify to other students and others throughout our community. So be sure to put where we can fundraise for you on the website. So I think Ms. Council, Dr. Council wants us to do a picture. Nothing. Anything you can cover up on me, I'm ready. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Next, we have public expression. I believe we have one member of the public here tonight, Ms. Jacqueline Ponder, representing the Unnatural Resources Institute and Fair. Ms. Ponder, you have 5 minutes to address the board, and I believe everybody should have one of these. Everybody on the board should have one of these to refer to.
Thank you so much for letting me speak. I don't know how many of y'all have been to the Unnatural Resource Fair, but we have been around for 26 years here in Pitt County. My name is Jacqueline Ponder, and I'm the president and founder of the Unnatural Resource Institute and Fair, and have been for 26 years. Some of you may not know what an unnatural resource is, and that is something that's been used once or scrapped from something. You can't find it in nature that way, but there's nothing wrong with it. In North Carolina, we throw away enough resources to go around the world twice each year. 80% of them can be reused or composted. The reuse and recycling industry is huge in the United States. There are 757,000 employees with a wage budget of $36.6 billion and a tax revenue of $6.7 billion. To recycle, you have to have a product, or you have no reason to recycle. To recycle, you have to have 5 things. You have to have the desire, you have to have the creativity, the time, the tools, and the skill to reuse. The Institute's job is to inspire students and teachers to creatively come up with new products or projects. This program helps teachers have more hands-on supplies that don't cost anything or very little. On your sheet, it'll show you some of the things that they have come up with for all the disciplines in school. You might like to know that there are companies out there that are mining the landfills for resources. There's also plastic companies in North Carolina that are importing used plastic, like your plastic bottles, etc., because we don't put enough of them in the recycle bucket. So they're imported, buying them from other countries and importing them. Eastern North Carolina only has 7 municipal landfills for all of 29 counties. 2 of them have less than 10 years on them. And landfills cost millions of dollars, and nobody wants one in their backyard. That's right. That's it. So, I don't know if all of you know that Pitt County doesn't have a landfill. Hasn't for 20 years. We transfer ours to Doherty County. Crazy. At the cost of your taxes, shipping it up there. I started the Unnatural Resource Fair as a project where everybody could participate, whether they had money or not. All they had to have was creativity. And I started it at Elmhurst Elementary, and the principal allowed me to experiment, which I was very grateful. The students brought in 125 of the most creative, original, useful entries to be judged. We had ribbons and a trophy, and that was the first fair that we ever had, just to see if it would work. I've done this now for 26 years, and it looks like I'm going to do it the rest of my life. And if I thought I was going to do that with this little children's project, I don't know if I'd have started it or not.
138 seconds left.
Okay. Well, we need to have more volunteers, we need more teachers, we need everybody to come to the fair or work with us to make this fair bigger and bigger, because we have other teachers in other states that are copying us, and we need to be very big here so that we're an example. We need volunteers. We've never had a reuse educational grant. We just depend on the community because we are a community nonprofit. So that's, we're open for anybody who'd love to help us keep growing across the country.
Thank you very much. We have more handouts up there.
There are more handouts up there.
Thank you so much. Consent items for approval is the next item on our agenda. I don't believe any items requested to be removed.
Motion for approval of consent items.
Thank you very much.
Second.
And moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your right hand to approve the consent agenda. All against, same sign. Thank you, it's unanimous. New business. We're very fortunate tonight to have the Pitt Community College Board of Trustees report. Dr. Dennis Massey is at the Pitt Community College president. He is here tonight, and he has brought with him some of Pitt County Schools. I believe we have 4 representatives or nominees who represent Pitt County Schools or liaison. I believe you'll probably be introducing them, but thank you for bringing them. We're looking forward to hearing from y'all, maybe asking a few questions.
Well, good evening, board members. It's a pleasure to see you again. I see you on campus sometimes, some of you, and I see others at Rotary meetings and Community Diversity Committee meetings. It's always good to connect with you, and I want to report positive news about our relationship between Pitt Community College and Pitt County Schools. And I want to put the responsibility or the accolades for that really in your side, especially Superintendent Lenker and his staff. They have been great to work with, and as a result, we've seen a significant increase in enrollment in programs connected between Pitt County Schools and Pitt Community College. You're going to hear about the early college high school, so I won't take any of Principal Whittington's thunder, but we're so proud of that program. And the Career and College Promise programs are continuing to grow. Already, we have more students enrolled this fall semester than we had last year, and we haven't even counted the programs offered in the high school yet because they're still organizing. So we feel very positively, and we thank you for your investment in the early college high school. Looks like we're finally going to get that construction project up and running. We have been following reusing a lot of materials, particularly, how do you say, modular units, and I think Wynn and his staff has been very creative in doing that. But we look to finish that project by next fall sometime. I'm going to turn this over. Oh, and one last thing. I had a great meeting with Superintendent Lenker, Cheryl Olmsted, Beth Ann Trueblood last week to talk about how we can become even more closely connected in technical programs, career and technical programs. And we've got some good ideas for priming the pump with middle school students, and also more ambitious articulation of connections with the high school programs. I want to turn it over to our new chair, board chair, and I want to tell you, board members, that our Board of Education appointed Board of Trustees members are they're the power group on our Board of Trustees. And our chair this year is Dr. Peter Craigle, and he is a Board of Education appointee.
Thank you, Dennis, and good evening, Board of Education members. It's certainly been a privilege for me to serve as your Board of Education appointee. I've also been reused. I'm going into my 14th year as a Board of Education appointee, my first year as chair. And I just want to comment that what I've seen over these years is a really closer and closer relationship with the Board of Education and Pitt County Schools, and I really feel good about that, as do all of your appointees, and I think we're really doing great things for the community. So I thank you all for your effort and for your vote of confidence in continuing these appointments. Let me introduce some folks who you probably know. We have Charles Long, who is another appointee, and Dr. Patty Sanders-Smith, also one of your appointees. And I would be remiss if I did not let Charles give this report. So I will turn this over to Charles. Thank you.
Don't know why he really says that, other than the fact that they've made me serve as chair the last 3 years. Peter is, I'm glad to see him doing it this year. It's good to be back here. As many of you know, I spent 22 years working here and around here, and enjoyed that and considered that a privilege, and considered it a much higher privilege, really, to continue to serve you for the previous 8 years as a trustee at Pitt Community College. I read an online publication. Many of you probably get it and read it too, EdNC. Do you get that? Recently, and I can't tell you how recent, within the past 2 months, I wouldn't have remembered if it had been longer than that, I read a reprint from the New York Times, and it indicated that at this time in this nation, we have 18 million undergraduate college students. How many of those go to a community college? Just a little better than 40%, according to this article in the New York Times, which would be 7+ million students, undergraduate students in a community college in this nation. That's tremendous. It is increasing all the time, and you know why it's increasing? The value that you get for the value that you give. So, with that being said, how many students do we touch from Pitt Community College that belong to you on a daily basis?
No idea.
600 to 800, maybe a few more. Every day, 180 days per school year. I'm not counting Wynn's 250 or whatever he has now at the early college. I'm talking about in your school buildings every day, 180 days per school year. 600 plus now, could be more or less as we get through the year, spring, second semester enrollments, etc. What are they involved in? How many schools are we having programs in? All of the high schools. As has been said, the relationship that has developed over the previous years has not only increased opportunities for students, I know that's one of your big thrusts, it has increased opportunities for us at Pitt Community College by reaching out to where you are. We're doing that now, as I said, in all 6 high schools. We've got, I better look back at my notes because I could tell you something wrong. We've got programs offered in 3 college transfer pathways, 33 CTE, Career Technical Education certificate programs, and 12 CTE diploma programs. Quite impressive. You are aware, of course, that we added Farmville Central this year to the schools that are having welding, and reports that I'm getting is just on street reports. Is that there's a lot of interest in that there at Farmville for the welding programs. As you know, we already had that at North Pitt and Ayden. We're doing college study skills, professional development, and internet communications and research at D.H. Conley. A number of students are enrolled there. So if you look at all those things that we're doing, 600 plus students enrolled in those programs, being touched by somebody from Pitt Community College on a daily basis throughout the school year. Early college has been mentioned, and I'm not going to steal anything from Wynn either, but I am looking forward to seeing that brick and mortar building for students to be housed in. Worth, you'll remember this well. I was principal at D.H. Conley when we had 25 mobile units. 25. It gives you problems on top of problems, and it's just not structural problems. A lot of supervision there. We're doing career days. We're doing professional fairs. We're bringing your students to the campus for opportunities to see what we have to offer. And I think that is one of the stronger things that we can do. Let me get to the end now by saying something about the impact that we see the career coaches are having. This really impressed me. I hope it increases, but this really impressed me. In the last school year, 967 students held an individual conference with one of those career coaches and counselors. Now, that's the key to getting students at the right place, the individual touch and the individual conference with them about what is available and what matches their skills. That's got to be a good thing. And I hope that when you see those career coaches, repeat for me what, if you will, if you believe what I just said. See more than 967 this year individually. It'll make a big difference. We are particularly pleased to help you serve your students, and we see many of them come to us when they are finished with school with you. Dr. Massey just shared with me, I think it's unbelievable. It's amazing that with the early college you're seeing some great things, and some of them are just too good to be true. Wayne will probably share that with you. Questions that you would have for any of us?
Thank you so very much. I really appreciate it. Dr. Sandra Smith, do you have anything you'd like to say or add?
Well, I would like to thank you all for affording me the opportunity to represent Pitt County Schools on the Board of Trustees. And I had the pleasure of serving as vice chair this year, and this is my 5th year. And the one thing that has impressed me the most is the relationship that has evolved between Pitt County Schools and Pitt Community College. In another life, I sat on the other side, and to see it from this angle has really been a benefit. And there are some exciting things happening in Pitt County Schools and in Pitt Community College. And again, I thank you for the opportunity.
Well, I'd just like to say that we are all honored by you being here tonight, but most especially by your service and working so hard to bridge that pre-K to 16 continuum. It's a wonderful thing to see us all working in alignment, because we're all really trying to achieve the same goal. Are there any questions from our board or comments?
I have a comment. I would like to say that I'm glad to see the CTE part connecting at such an early age. From middle school, we can connect with the AVID program to get career directions from our middle schoolers on through high school. And I'm excited to see the early college aspect of it, but also that we emphasize the kids' dreams. You know, they're dreaming of careers that we never even thought of when we were coming up. And I'm so glad that we have you as that link to provide those skills, the counseling, the coaching, and all of that. And I like the way in which our CT aspect is headed, because when the child step off stage on Saturday, then they need to know where they're going to be on Monday. And a lot of people that were raised around in this area know that with the good training, with good, determination, it's our kids' tickets to the middle class. And I wanted to emphasize that with you. I wanted to thank you for your leadership. I'm so glad I had an opportunity to select 2 of you, I believe, that serving our students with no complaints. And I just want to tell you, you are appreciated, and I love the fact that we're working, still working together to get things done.
Yes, ma'am.
I just like to echo what's already been said, and in addition to that, being a product of the Pitt County Schools myself, when I graduated in 1967, 50 years ago, just celebrated my 50th anniversary from the Pitt County Schools, there was a great migration to North because of no jobs, no opportunities, and so this has been a major plus, having a variety of options for our students and everything. So we just need to continue working at that, because it made no sense to me that I had to leave my home to go away to college and graduate school, then come back and then still had to fight for a job. You see what I'm saying? So it has really made a difference in many of our kids' lives, and we still got lots of work to do. And I commend you all for working with the school system to help make more young people's dreams a reality. So we won't have to migrate north or west or wherever because no job opportunities in our town or in our county. That happened when I graduated. But luckily, those young people, and we had a chance just a few weeks ago, having our 104th reunion from the Bethel Union reunion in the northern end of Pitt County, to sort of reflect on that, to know that a lot of those young people that left here because there were no job opportunities in 1967 went away right out of high school, got good jobs in governmental agencies, and today they have returned home, many of them, and living in some of Pitt County's finest communities, and retiring and have done well, in spite of the obstacles that they had just 50 years ago. So, thank you.
Yes, Betsy.
I would just like to say, I think I would be remiss as a representative from Farmville not to thank you for your commitment to the Farmville Community Center and for the welding lab at Farmville Central. And like Mary and Mildred both emphasized, the CTE training is certainly something that I'm very interested in growing our relationship with PCC. I am the parent of a Farmville Central student, and I just went to my parent orientation a few weeks ago. I have my PCC pen, and he's a sophomore at Farmville Central. He's taking Math 71 online, and he's also going to be in the welding lab in the spring. So I know that you guys are doing an amazing job serving, especially some of our outlying smaller schools that maybe don't have populations to offer some of the more AP classes. And that's certainly a wonderful opportunity for my son to be able to go ahead and take the college level course. And so I do want to thank you for that, and do look forward to growing our relationship together.
I could not mention all the courses, but we're offering 2 biology courses there.
Right.
There are others at other places, but it just takes too much of your time.
Physics, if you can get physics at Farmville Central.
Plug here. Anybody else like to make a comment?
If I could just piggyback on a couple of comments regarding CTE, Career and Technical. We know that our local employers need people with certifications, with qualifications. But I think there are too many people that look at CTE not in a dynamic way, because there are so many programs at East Carolina University and other four-year schools that piggyback on those programs. And it is, I think it's the options, as Ms. Council mentioned, are endless right now. And I'm glad to say that a lot of those job opportunities are local or regional, and it won't force a long trip away and back. So we want to work with the Pitt County schools, and we see the future is bright in all areas, but think of the health sciences, the construction, industrial technology areas. Those are in need right now. Right.
Anyone else? I would just like to say how fortunate we are to have Pitt Community College here. You really are a shining star, and the relationship that y'all have built is so important to our students. You are a big institution. We are a big institution. East Carolina as well. Institutions are not intuitive. Most people don't find it intuitive on how to get through and be a part of. That's why orientation programs last for weeks sometimes. And so that relationship between the two of you and your respective staffs and board members is critical, that it is a strong and clear, transparent glue so that it acts like a sieve, really, for our students to move up through Pitt County schools and through and into the programs that are of interest to them. And I think that we are all to be commended for the hard work. Because it's not easy trying to explain one institution to another institution and work out the teeny tiny little roadblocks that can be fixed, but oftentimes you don't even realize they're there because they've been around so long until an individual student comes across them and has to deal with them, or an employee or a teacher. So, I mean, that's kind of nitty-gritty, almost grunt work for a bureaucrat, but it is really important. It's not interesting, but the result of working together and recognizing where those little glitches and roadblocks are is really endless, almost endless opportunity for the students in Pitt County. And just want to commend you all for that, and thank you for that, and for your vision, and for your good partnership. Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate it, and thank you for serving.
Thank you all.
All right, I believe we have an update from Pitt County Early College High School, Early High School College update. College High School. Anyway, Wynn Whittington is the principal, and I want to thank him for being here tonight.
Madam Chair, board members, Dr. Linker, thank you for having me tonight to come and share some good news about our program. I just kind of want to echo what's been said earlier about the partnership between Pitt Community College and Pitt County Schools. I've been around early colleges and the early college model for over 10 years now, and I would put our partnership with Pitt Community College up against any other program in the state. It's just been a phenomenal partnership thus far, and we look forward to continuing that and going forward. I'd also like to talk about the modular units real quick. We affectionately refer to those as teneminiums, or Ms. Bradley called them learning cottages. So we have different names for them, but we're very grateful to have those. Our students have adjusted very well, and we're off and running. We're a month into school now, and things are running very smooth. And so I've given Ms. Rankin a packet of information to share with you a little while later, but I wanted to go through some statistics about our program with you tonight. But before I do that, I want to introduce some of the staff and students that are here with me. So I have Ms. Bernetta Bradley, our counselor, Ms. Laurel Curry, our STEM teacher, math teacher, and Ms. Deja Branch, our Student Government Association president. I asked them to come tonight and be a part of this. So our current enrollment is 213 students. We were hoping to be at 225, but we've had some students that have left and moved to other states and out of the county. But we're currently at 213. Demographics, 32% of our student population is African American, 34% Hispanic, 29% white, 3% multiracial, and 1% Asian and American Indian, Native American. We also, gender demographics, we're 70% female population at our school, 30% male. The breakdown of female and males, 35% African American females, 32% Hispanic, 27% white, 3% multiracial, 2% Asian, and 1% Native American. And then for our males, 24% are African American, 40% Hispanic, 32% white, 3% multiracial, and 1% Asian. One of the things we pride ourselves on in the early college and the early college model is when we started this program, we wanted to focus on first generation college, and that has always been the goal for us, and also trying to entice our economically disadvantaged students to participate in this program, to give them an opportunity to get a jump start on college, and we've heard lots of conversation about that tonight. And we're very proud of the fact that 92% of our students in our school are considered true first generation, meaning that neither parent has more than a 2-year degree. And I think that's a testament to our concentrated efforts when we recruit students and also to our selection process. 87% of our students are considered economically disadvantaged by standard. And we really relish that fact that we are giving students who otherwise, first person in their family to go to college, probably wouldn't have this opportunity if this program wasn't free. And so it's a great opportunity for them. Want to also share with you some information about our school performance. Last year, as you may recall, we were an A school. Our growth index was a 3.29. This year, it's still tentative information. It's not been state board approved, but we look like we're on track to be an A school again and almost double our growth index from last year. And what I would tell you is that is no small feat and is a true, again, testament to the hard work and dedication of our teachers and our students to getting in the classroom and getting it done and performing at an exceptional level. When you can take a student who's already predicted to be a level 5 and still grow them, that says a lot, particularly with the growth index that we're looking at. On the college side of things, when we started this program, we started planning. Initially, our thoughts were our students would take 2 college classes their first year, being health and PE, 2 college classes their sophomore year. And boy, did they fool us. We are now looking at our freshmen alone this year have 161 credit hours that they're taking right now. Our sophomores, 322 credit hours. And our juniors, which Deja is part of the junior class, 779 credit hours that they're taking this fall. So right now, a total number of 1,262 credit hours. Far exceeded our expectations. 124 students are taking between 1 and 5 hours, 59 students taking between 6 and 11, and we had 28 students that have a full-time load. And the reason we had 28 is we have 43 students, I believe it is, that are taking high school chemistry, but that's the only high school course they're taking. Everything else is a college course. 11 of our sophomore students are taking 3 or more college classes at this point. We had 2 students that transferred in from NERSBA at the beginning of this year, and so they had already had some of the courses, high school courses that we offer, so they're actually taking college courses, more college courses than originally. Students currently enrolled in Associates in Science, Associate in Arts, Biotechnology, Human Services, and Building Construction Technology programs, just to name a few. 60 of our students entered this school year with 12 or more completed credit hours. Deja, I believe you have 26, is that correct? 26 completed credit hours already, and just started her junior year here. And Deja is one of several students that we have that will no doubt graduate in 4 years instead of 5 with her diploma and her 2-year degree. And she's led by example. She's been our SGA president this entire time and has really done a phenomenal job for us. We have 2 students, Deja, I believe, being one of them, that could potentially graduate in 3 years if we wanted them to. But we're going to have them take additional classes. You have this information in your packet, and you also have a list of all the pathways and programs that our students have the ability to pursue as part of this program. Our one-to-one technology initiative is off and running. All of our students have access to a device every day, and they certainly take advantage of that. We're heavy into technology usage at our school. Our SGA has begun planning the adoption of Challenger High School down in Houston, and we're looking at a service project where we collect items to hopefully ship down there, find out what they need, and do some collections and kind of adopt them as a sister school, particularly in light of all that's happened here recently. Our STEM program has just taken off. Ms. Curry, we were fortunate enough to bring Ms. Curry on board last year, and she is the queen of getting grants and applying for grants, and has really just far exceeded my expectations for our STEM program. We're working with ECU using their STEM lab. We're also working with Grover Gaming here locally, and trying to build some partnerships with them. And, you know, we talked about being an A school, and I'll say this, being an A school is a great honor. There's no doubt about it. But it doesn't define who we are. You know, to see growth almost double what we did last year is phenomenal, and we're, again, very proud of our students and our teachers. But what defines us is the relationship. And you heard our bus transportation bus driver of the year, and Allison talk about relationships with students. And that's what that defines us, is our relationships with our students. Relationships that thrive off of trust, commitment, and the desire to see every student be successful. We adopted 3 C's this year: character, commitment, and consistency. And you'll hear that mantra in our school. You'll see that on the walls, because we think that those are the 3 things that are most important. We've remained true to early college model, as evidenced by our percentage of first-generation college students and economically disadvantaged students, and also being small. And I beat Dr. Linker up on several occasions, asking for
cost me a lot of money.
Cost him a lot of money. But being small affords us the opportunity to get to know our students on a more personal level, to the point that we strive to meet their social, emotional, and physical needs. Because if we don't meet those, we can't meet their educational needs, their academic needs. A few examples I'd just kind of like to share. We've got a student whose mother is battling stage 4 cancer. And that student comes to school every day, works extremely hard, excels in the classroom, is probably one of the most polite and well-mannered students that we have in our building. Ms. Bradley has volunteered her time to take that parent to doctor's appointments, to make sure that they get there and get what they need. And by doing that, it takes that stress off the parent and the student, that part of that situation is handled. We also have a student whose parent is on the heart transplant list. And same thing, student comes to school every day, model student, excels academically, and again, Ms. Bradley is taking time to help that parent as well. She does that because she's an A#1 counselor, and she takes her job to me to the extreme, and she also does it because she's a strong Christian woman, and I love that about her. Just the other night, one of our staff members received a text from a student that stated, that they were off this earth, they couldn't do this anymore. That staff member, contacted the police department, contacted the parent, finally got the student on the phone and said, come get you if we need to. If you don't want to go anywhere, you want to come with us, then we'll be there. Staff member went over, got the student, talked with them. They ended up leaving with the police to go and be evaluated. But, that student trusted our staff member to text them at 9:30 at night and ask for help. And you don't get that everywhere, because in large schools, large populations, those children fly under the radar. And that's what we love about what we do, is we're able to really get to know students on a level and build that sense of trust. Very humbling, to say the least. We pride ourselves on family. We talk about that often, and we sincerely appreciate the love and support that we get from each one of you, from our trustees, from Dr. Massey and his staff, from the Pitt County School support staff as well, because we talk about commitment every day in our building. We can't do it without the commitment from all these entities and from all of you. And so we sincerely appreciate that as well. Just want to thank you again for allowing me to come and share about our program, and I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you so much. Yes, sir. Work.
You know, when I look at the statistics breakdown of black, Hispanic, white, female, and male, and then the economically disadvantaged, 87%. But yet, at the same time, looking at possibly, again, being a school and doubling the growth index and meeting their social needs. To me, again, it goes back to putting kids in classes that you don't expect them to succeed in, but yet with a support group, you put them in there and they succeed with everyone coming around and helping them meet their needs. And students are probably exceeding what their parents and what they really thought that they could do in this school. Therefore, you get the growth and you get the things that the state's looking for, as well as we as a board is looking for in all of our schools. I mean, it shouldn't just happen in the early high school, but it should be happening in all of our schools. Just like in our high schools, we got kids that should be in AP courses that are not in AP courses. And if they make a C in that AP course, that's great. You know, it's not always about making the A. And our teachers really need to have those expectations, as well as our guidance counselors. But I see a support program here, one that is successful, and going into it, looking at the students. If someone was just an educator would just walk in and just look at the students, the makeup of the students, oh, they're not going to succeed like they should. But when you give them a challenge so many times with a support group, teachers, all the entities here that are in place, they meet that challenge, and so many times they exceed it.
Thank you.
So I just want to commend you.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention AVID.
Right, AVID is
a
great.
huge component of our school.
Right,
everybody in our school is in the AVID program, and the partnership again with Pitt Community College, providing us with tutors that we can utilize on a daily basis in tutorology is the backbone of what we do.
Well, I just commend your staff as well as the staff up here in getting this on board, because Mr. Charles knows we were talking about it way back in the ancient days. Didn't we? That's right.
And Barrett and then Robert.
Can you describe to me, or to us rather, a little bit about the recruitment and student identification process for getting kids in?
Certainly. So in December, somewhere around before Christmas break, we go around to typically 4 of the 6 high schools and do parent interest meetings and parent information sessions. And we put that information out ahead of time to talk to parents and present our program to them first. Ultimately, children are going to make a decision, but not without parental guidance, and we certainly understand that. Then in January, we start our recruiting process. We go to each middle/K-8 school and present our program to all the 8th grade students. And then about the end of February is when the application deadline typically is. Students apply. Last year, we had 212 applicants. The year before was 192, and then the first year was 237. And so our rubric is heavy on first-generation college and low socioeconomic status or economically disadvantaged. So it's obviously a point system, and the most points are awarded for those 2 areas based on parents' education level, the education level of each parent, and then also their lunch status. And then we look at their grades and their academics. If you have a 4.0, we take 7th grade grades for the year in the 4 core areas, and then we take their 8th grade grades through first semester. and we average those, and we determine their GPA. If you have a 4.0 combined, that's 30 points. If you have a 3.5, it's 25, and it's a sliding scale. Because we look at that and we want to make sure that academically, when they walk in the door at 13, 14 years old, they've proven in 7th and 8th grade that they can get the work done, particularly with supports. Now, I'm not going to stand here and tell you that we've got a school full of 4.0 students, because that's not even close. We've got everything from a 2.0 to a 4.0. And so we have teacher recommendation, which is worth 16 points total. Their EOG scores, if they made a level 5, it's 5 points, and level 4, it's 4. And so we add all those points up, and that's how we determine who to interview. And so then we go to the schools and we actually interviewed. This year we interviewed 121 students, and we selected 76. So.
Thank you. Robert, did you have that?
Yes, I first want to say thank you. And I had the opportunity of touring your facility.
Yes, sir.
You were busy.
If I'm not doing my job.
You're exactly right. You were very busy, so your AP took me around. But let me back up a bit and let me say that thank you for coming from one county to this county to help us. If you look at this, you might see one thing. It's a classic case of book judging a book cover. The classes that I walked into that day, they were high-spirited. It was not a traditional kind of classroom. Everyone was participating, which is what I like. I thought I was going to stop pretty much at the mobile unit, but grounds were wet, so got my feet wet a little bit, and I was taken over to another facility. And those PCC people may want to double check to make sure you're not taking more brick and mortar than what you're supposed to. But I'm sure they'll let you have it. When I went into there to see that operation that you got, not in there, I was completely flabbergasted. And you are doing a real good job. And again, thank you PCC for allowing us Pitt County Schools to be able to operate in that manner. I think one day my vision is you will see education all mixed together, where you have K through 12 and early college and right into college, all kind of mingled together. And I think Pitt County is a perfect place for that. And I see it happening, and thank you and your staff for, because I see a lot of, and that's why you can give us this and we can see your performance. It's right here. Thank you, and
thank you.
We look forward to seeing this over and over again.
I hope so as well. I will tell you that, I read just recently, that somebody who's striving to be a great leader surrounds themselves with people who fill in the void of the areas where they're the weakest or they're lacking.
Right.
And I've been as blessed in any principal role I've ever been in to hire from the beginning a phenomenal staff, and the credit goes to them for the hard work they put in every day. And I wanted to just say one more thing, Ms. Barrett-Smith. When we recruit our students and we actually select the 76 or 75, we don't look at demographics, we don't look at gender, we don't look at any ethnicity or anything until our students are selected. Then we compile this data. And we don't look at this particular middle school and say we can only take this many from this school. Joey will tell you that the first year I think we had out of 75, 29 from North Pitt, and we were all scratching our head how we're going to get them all here. So we don't look at that until the ink is dried, and then that's when we compile this data. Yes, ma'am.
I'd just like to say thank you. And I just truly do appreciate the work that you're doing, because that first year you took a lot of my students north of the river. And that critical factor is your first generation, to ever go to college in any shape, form, or fashion. is important to parents. And parents sometimes don't know how to explain certain things because they've never been there and done that. And on that recruitment, all the feedback that I got was questions, but they were positive questions as to whether or not it would do what it promised that it was going to do. And thus far, it has fulfilled every promise that was made between that parent and the students that are attending. And I think that's a large part, how can I say it? It goes to your credit, but it also goes to that commitment to our parents when, from when they make sure that the work is done and they set guidelines and barriers, for to make that way for their child to succeed. So that family, not only that student, but that family is very proud, and that's important. A lot of people don't think so, but it truly is. And I surely thank you for the pathway that we as this board and Pitt Community College has done. And I just like to say that to you.
Well, thank you for entrusting us with your children. We sincerely appreciate it. And please, if you've not been out in a while or what have you, please come see us. We'd love for you to walk the halls again. It changes every year. Now we're at another class. So, you won't see many of our juniors like Adasia. We get to see her occasionally because she's off and doing great things. So please come see us.
Thank you for coming. It seems to me that those 213 students are incredibly fortunate. They're being both motivated and supported by your staff every day to take on challenges that inspire themselves to actually live up to their potential. That can be a scary thing for a kid.
It can.
To actually try their best to live up to their potential. And it sounds like you guys seem to have the magic elixir to make that happen with your mix of staff. It really does seem that way to me. They're very fortunate. We're really, really fortunate to have you here to be able
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I apologize. I'd like to say one other thing. Miss Bradley, don't think your work is going unnoticed. Truly, I want you to know that, because a lot of positive feedback comes from where you were counselor at Rhodes and transitioning to this role. I'm really pleased. I just wanted you to know that your role has not gone unnoticed, and a strong guidance counselor, is some of the majority of the foundation.
She counsels me from time to time.
It's all about relationship. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
For coming.
Appreciate
We really appreciate it. All right. So it's the board, it's about 9, and Dr. Linker. I'm a board member who needs to leave, so I thought I would offer closing comments first to Mr. Forbes.
Yeah, I've got a leadership meeting at church, and my group, the preacher, if he's not 15 minutes late, but if he's 5 minutes late, they leave. So I got to get there. But anyway, I would just like to thank the staff for a successful opening. Thank you, Dr. Linker. And also appreciate your leadership in working with Pitt Community College, getting early college also off the ground. And I appreciate Pitt Community College, Dr. Massey and his leadership, been doing him a long time. And the trustees, it's always good to hear from them. That was something that the board requested, that we hear, have an update from our trustees, and that was very productive. And I'd just like to thank everyone for a successful opening.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good evening. Get there before they run out.
Dr. Linker on the scooter.
Just as Mr. Forbes said, was that 6 days of school, been excellent start. And I've had the privilege of getting to about 25 schools so far, visiting classrooms, and at every school you see the same thing. Teachers and since day one we're in the classroom with students going through the instructional processes and teaching the kids what they need to be going on. So you see great stuff every day in our schools. Got a couple principals out there. Appreciate all the work they do. Dr. Massey may have talked about the relationship we have here, but it has a lot to do with Dr. Massey. You know, we met early on in my career here with Dr. Massey. The Board of Trustees know that he really came over and put out the olive branch, and we were able to grow from there quickly. So Dr. Massey gets a lot of credit for that. And then just something kind of neat that I saw today from Joey Weathington that 100 years ago today was the first motorized school bus in Pamlico County. I thought that was really cool. So, and it's not much of a bus. It only holds about 10 or 12 kids, but anyway, pretty good stuff. So anyway,
very good. Thank you.
Well, much of the same. I'll say thank you, everybody who's out there, everybody who's in TV land, for a successful open house and a successful school opening. We have been really elated with what has happened thus far, and a lot of what you've seen what I've seen is what you see here tonight. That's the one-on-one. Thank you, Dr. Linker, working with one-on-one with the various indices in the school system, and it's making the Pitt County school system really work. So I would say pretty much just thank you, thank you, thank you. Those seen and those unseen actions that help promote the Pitt County school system. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Betsy? I guess we've all noticed the increased traffic on the street, so I'm excited about the teen drivers that were here tonight, and I think they're gone now, but so excited to see the programs for the driving for teenagers. I know just since school has gotten back in session, there's a lot of swerving and weaving, and I encourage those kind of programs that Vidant's putting on with our teenage drivers. That's very encouraging. Also, with Pitt Community College, I might be their biggest cheerleader, to be honest with you. I wonder how many early colleges we can get in Pitt County. Why should we stop at one? I'm very, very excited about that relationship, and honestly, as a community member and a parent and a board member, I think it's one of our brightest highlights that we have is that relationship with PCC. And lastly, just that affinity group of the relationships that Wynn has with his students and his staff has with his students, and how we have that really in all of our schools, from the bus drivers to the cafeteria workers to the teachers. These are the people that touch our students' lives every day. They're the ones that when their eyes are open, they know if something's up. And so I'm really thankful for those relationships that we have with our staff members and our teachers and our students at Pitt County Schools. And lastly, just the technology that Pitt County Schools is using between Power School and Facebook and website. And during our board meeting tonight, Travis was calling me about something, and he's not even here. So just technology, parents and staff members, that is such a useful tool in helping parents and community members know what's going on in your school. The more information that we can get in our parents' hands, I think the better job we can do. Thank you. Thank you very much. Melinda?
Well, just to kind of, lots of things to highlight tonight, but the one thing that sticks to me personally is the great job that Pitt Community College is doing. I'm originally from the north, and I spend time there in the summer, and that seems to be the chatter. I have a friend that's on a board of education where I grew up, and it's the community college, the need for CTE, and getting rid of the stigma of getting these technical degrees. And I'll kind of tell you a short story about how important it is. I myself am a first-generation college graduate on both sides of my family, my mother and my father. And I was able to do that debt-free because the man that raised me was a welder, and he paid for my college education. And my mother was the secretary at an elementary school. So they put my brother and I through college. They had a very good life. He made, enough living that I never felt like we were poor. And because of him and his welding degree, I was able to go to college. So thank you for what you do, and I look forward to supporting anything I can do for you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Council.
Okay. I would just like to thank the Natural Resource Lady, Miss Jackie Ponder. I remember when she started that program 26 years ago, and I just admire her work ethics with it, and it has really made a difference in a lot of our community's life throughout Pitt County and surrounding counties. And so I would just like to cheer her on, even though she's already gone, with finding other ways of being creative and also saving Mother Earth. So this is key to me because I don't like the idea that we take our garbage to Bertie County, even though I don't want it in Pitt County either, but. Because it's in an area that is an area where there are poor people that have a lack of resources, and I don't like that. And waste is waste. So, so recycling is a way of using some of those things that we think are it's just trash, and it could be used for, like she said, the other resources. So I'd like to thank Jackie for all her hard work. And I remember when she started it, and I'm so excited about that. And of course, I've already said my little do tonight, I think, with PCC, and we just like to welcome all our young people back to school, and that I just like to encourage our parents to be very engaged with your children, because it's really up to you to make sure their year is successful and have high expectations. And of course, I expect our school system to have high expectations for all children, because all children can learn. They may learn differently, but they certainly can learn. And tonight just really gives an example of that. And so we just like to cheer our system on for the new year, that to make sure that we take these children to another level and get them involved in all the extracurricular activities that they can possibly be involved in, because we want well-rounded children that can compete globally. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Barrett?
I am really excited about so much that's going on in our system. As I've made it around to a few schools as they prepared for the new year and spoken to administrators, teachers, there's a phrase I keep hearing over and over again, and that's, we've got this new initiative. We've got this new initiative. And I just am super proud of a district where we aren't afraid to scrap old ideas and come up with new ones, and we're constantly trying to figure out how to reach our diverse learners and what to do to help make every one of our students successful. So kudos to those of you who are responsible for creating the new initiatives and for being constantly thinking and growing. And then, y'all, we've got awesome students in Pitt County, and one of the programs, these kids will kill me for calling them out, but there's a new program starting this year. It's kind of a resurgence of an old program, but also done by the Office of Injury Prevention. It's Students Against Destructive Decisions, and it's in most of our area high schools and middle schools. We have actually 3 kids here from South Central, Kennedy Phipps, Mason Dinas, and Sydney McDuffie. Y'all raise your hands. And the reason I want to call them out is, you know, this program is dealing with, there are so many ways that our kids can make destructive decisions, more than there were even when we were coming along. And this program is about education, it's about support, about encouraging one another to make wise decisions. And it's not easy to be a teenager and to stand up for that. It's not popular, it's not exciting. And so kudos to you 3 and the rest of the leaders who are willing to put yourself out there and be the face of this and to be a leader in that regard. So I'm excited about that program and all the programs that go into helping our kids stay balanced and feeling good about themselves.
Oh, my turn. I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who came out tonight. I appreciate your willingness to continue to work together to make our students successful in all areas, you know, in all aspects and areas of life. I'd like to congratulate our excellence in the East, you know, recognitions, especially since they were from my side of town. But I'm also very proud of our leadership staff here in the building. You know, a lot of people think that when graduation stop, everything stopped. A lot of people been on roller skates. I'm telling you, they have been actually on roller skates, trying to get everything set, you know, trying to make sure, you know, kids are where they're supposed to be and the things that, you know, parents are asking, that they're getting their questions done. So I appreciate you all for the good work that you still do and continue to do on behalf of our students. I'd like to thank my board members because I've worked all summer as a long-term disaster case manager to help people recover from the flood of Hurricane Matthew. So I appreciate, you know, you all for stepping in and helping me out. But let's talk baseball. Let's talk baseball. I've got friends that live in Hawaii and all over the country that whereas that baseball, the Little League World Series, and just to know that our students not only represented Pitt County well, but they represented the nation well with everything that was going on. Not only did they show leadership, but their character. And when you got them on TV, they were so articulate, so you know, intelligent. It just, you know, with all this going on in this world, with all the disasters that's occurring around the world, and we all have to step up to the plate. Baseball is it is just everything. It is just everything, and people had a chance to take their mind off some of the negativity, and I just want to, Melinda, your son, participate. You didn't brag. It wasn't your son that participated. The forgotten, it wasn't him?
It's my nephew.
But that's all right, he family. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. We have a lot to be proud of. You know, the leadership and the sportsmanship and intellect and the articulation. You know, we're doing a lot of good things. We're doing a lot of right things, you know, with our students. And I like to congratulate, you know, Les and Dr. Delilah Jackson, because they had kids, and Cash and all the rest of them. I could probably name all by heart, but I really do, you know, want to just remind us all that with all this going on in this world, baseball was watched around the world, and all we could do was cheer. You know, so.
And that we did.
Yes, we did.
All right. From that very happy note, I do want to take a moment to express my sincerest condolences to the family of Jeff Beasley, who we lost last week. He was a staff member at D.H. Conley. I believe his wife still works at D.H. Conley, a long-time staff member. And so I just want to let them know and the D.H. Conley family know that our thoughts and prayers are going out to the Beasley family. I also want to thank Ms. Ponder for coming. She was one of the first people I met when I moved to Pitt County, and I'm so excited, being an avid recycler myself. And I just want everybody else to know that Pitt County Schools does promote recycling by our students and staff each and every day, in each and every classroom, and in our media centers and our concession stands, and all around Pitt County Schools. And we believe it's very important to teach our students to conserve the resources of our world, which are finite. And last but not least, I'd also like to congratulate the W.H. Robinson Union Alumni Association. They celebrated their 117th year. I'm sorry to have you by a few years.
That's all right.
117th year anniversary, and their 37th multi-class reunion this past weekend in Winterville. Their mission is to ensure that past existence and legacy of our school as we know it is not forgotten. Whenever and however, we will let it be known that our accomplishments and successes in life are largely due in part to the educational development we experienced as students at our alma mater, W.H. Robinson. And I just love the fact that we're talking about a school that opened in 1900, and they had over 250 alumni and friends in attendance from as far away as California and Washington State. The surviving members of the classes of 1957 and 1967 were recognized, and for 37 years they have been giving us 2 scholarships called the J.W. May Scholarships, and they presented those this weekend as well to 2 Pitt County 2017 graduates. They received a letter of recognition from the governor and the town of Winterville mayor, and it's important to note that they're the only original black school of the original 6 black schools in Pitt County that's still located on its original site for 117 years. And to have that kind of ongoing support, decade after decade after decade, is truly phenomenal and a hallmark, I believe, for this county, and sets a high standard for all of our schools. Dr. Nina E. Blunt Hare is the president of the Robinson School Alumni Association, and she had invited us to attend, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to represent us. But it just is really inspiring to see this kind of dedication and support and appreciation for their teachers and the education that they received so long ago. So with that, I believe that I'm ready to entertain a motion to adjourn since there are no more items left on the agenda. Motion to adjourn. And we have a motion to adjourn and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Thank you, motion carries. Have a good night.